We've seen some kind of Southwest-like weather around here lately.
Absolutely.
It's been really hot. I haven't seen any scorpions around here, though.
Not in Portland, thankfully. But yeah, it has been so warm. We've had just a stretch of days in the 80s and the 90s for the last 6 or so days. A quick peek out into the gorge. There's your look at the Dalles, and we are starting out back in the mid-60s. So a very warm start out there, and a nice sunrise. You can see there, it does look like there is maybe some high-level smoke adding into some of those colors this morning. Maybe a little hazy out in this region. Just want to give a quick check of our current air quality. Thankfully, much of the state here under good and moderate air quality at the moment, and we're not expecting that to change. So we should see good air here in Portland for the rest of the day. Here's a wider look at some of the state here out to Pendleton. There has been a slight decrease in our air quality to the moderate level, but really the biggest impacts from wildfires that have been burning up in Canada and that smoke shifting down into areas of Idaho into Montana. We are seeing air quality in the moderate to unhealthy for sensitive groups categories, even some spots there in western Montana in the unhealthy category. So there have been some impacts already at this point in the year here in May when fire season tends to get going in June. So fire season again starting early for some parts here of the region, with that big smoke plume that did arrive up in Washington state earlier in the week. But here's a look at our surface smoke forecast. Not expecting to see any impacts here of wildfire smoke. There are some prescribed burns down near Deschutes County and Bend, so maybe some localized smoke. But again, our smoke conditions will be very minimal here, and we'll see very low levels of smoke, not enough to even impact any air quality here around Portland. So nothing to worry about yet as we head our way into today and at this point in May, but that could change at any point going into June and beyond. Still a beautiful start here out in southwest Washington. Your peak again at Mount St. Helens. Just a beautiful start, and also a touch of some high level haze, and that's sunrise too, giving us some nice orange and red glow this morning. 57 degrees out there. We'll hover in the 50s this morning. You may want a light jacket briefly, but we are back in the 60s. A very mild morning ahead as we head into about 8 o'clock and beyond. So here's a peek at that heat that we have had in the region for the last week. Our first 90-degree day came last Friday there on the 12th, and we've now seen 5 days in the 90s so far this May, which again is a record breaker. We have never seen 5 days in the 90s. We typically get no days or maybe one at 90 degrees or warmer in May, and this year we've seen 5. So that is a new record since we started taking records back all the way in 1940. Here's a look at our satellite and radar. Still pretty dry around the Pacific Northwest. We still have this ridge of high pressure anchored in right over our region, and that is keeping us warm and dry and under this summery pattern here. But this does come to an end. That warm air will shift out of the region, and we pull in some upper level low pressure here. Nice trough setting up. So more mild conditions shifting in, that jet stream pulling in some cooler air from the northwest. So we will start to cool down as we head our way into the end of the weekend through next week. And when I say cool down, we'll still be in a very pleasant range. We'll start to dip down towards the upper 60s to low 70s by Sunday into early next week. But we'll still see some fantastic afternoons for outdoor activities. Again, the 70s will feel very pleasant and more normal for this point in springtime here. So beautiful conditions next week. Even though we're dipping away from the 80s, we still have 2 more days, today and Saturday, where here in Portland we could hit 80 degrees. So still some heat to work with. I also don't see much rain in the forecast either. So next week in the 70s with partly to mostly sunny skies, just beautiful conditions here in Portland for outdoor activities. So make those outdoor plans. Again, we will keep things mainly dry. Do see a chance for some rain possibly back in the picture as we head towards Thursday and Friday of next week. So we have a good handful of dry days before any rain makes a good return here back into the Portland metro area. So today, a mild start. Will be warm and sunny. Beaverton, Tigard, highs around 84 degrees. Same for Portland out to Gresham and up north out of Clark County. Low 80s today. Some patchy morning clouds, but lots of sunshine for us as we head into our afternoon. So here's a peek at your 7-day forecast. Today and tomorrow, still a chance that we are back in the 80s here. So a little bit warm, feeling more like a summery day out there, especially with all the sunshine that we'll get. But we finally cool back down towards the upper 60s to low 70s heading into early next week, but plenty of sunshine and dry days to continue here around the region.